The reason this film is getting a second look is because the first and only time I saw this was in IMAX 3D. I was curious to know if watching it at home would alter my opinion. My original grade, I believe, was 3.5 out of 5 stars. Let's see if that's changed. Gravity. 2 years later, I still like it a lot. The story follows a medical engineer called Ryan Stone and an astronaut called Matt Kowalski. While performing operations out in space, they get reports of debris headed their way. Catastrophe strikes soon after, leaving their crew dead. It's then up to Stone and Kowalski to find a way to survive, with backup not an option. When I sat down to rewatch this, I made a conscious decision to watch it alone, in the dark, on my computer. And compared to an IMAX screen, that's a pretty significant difference. What I found, which I still cannot believe, is I actually enjoyed watching this more by myself. The experience was much more personal and emotional. It allowed me to really see the movie. When this was released in the cinemas, there was a lot of hype around it, including awards talk, and that stuff can and does affect judgment. And that's a big part of why I waited so long to rewatch this, so I could focus on the story and the characters and everything else buried underneath that hype aura. And by doing so, I found something really special. I found a film that shows a modern woman fighting for survival. I'm pretty sure if you were to ask someone today to name a female-led commercial film, they would come up with Alien. Interestingly enough, both characters are trying to survive in space. Regardless of the setting though, this film fits into a category of films that helps prove it's easier now to make a female-led film and not have it viewed as a risk. But a big part of that too is casting. Sandra Bullock may not be the best actress working today, but this story demands an intelligent, caring, and humble personality, and she provides it. And of the 7 films I've seen her in, this is my favorite performance of hers. She makes a role that took a lot of training and willpower look effortless. On the technical side, the cinematography, visual effects, sound design, and mix are moving and revolutionary. They all work towards the story's advantage. My favorite scene is when Ryan is trying to save Matt, whose only support is a piece of rope. It's a scene that could have easily been overacted by Clooney and Bullock, but it's not. It's a quiet, terrifying, and intense moment. Where I think the film could have improved is the dialogue, Ryan's backstory, story choices, and the casting. Despite housing a charming quality, George Clooney does not feel like the right actor for this role. He's too calm and passive. My recommendation would have been Bill Paxton. He comes to mind because of Vertical Limits and, more recently, Edge of Tomorrow. He has the right look and attitude for a seasoned astronaut. Regarding the dialogue, Clooney's lines include boring and pathetic romantic gestures towards Bullock. He's also got stories, meant to help fill out his character. And stories are not a bad idea. They actually can help fill out a character if done properly. But in this case, the stories really aren't all that interesting. Concerning story choices, there's a couple. The first is having a third character out in space during the opening. Because he dies before we get a chance to get to know him properly, it feels like a waste of potential. The second concerns a scene later on where Ryan dreams that Matt comes back after she makes it to the Russian shuttle. It's used as a means for Ryan to acquire information on how to get home. Personally, I am not a fan of this method because it involves unnecessarily cheating the audience. Quaron, I think, could have been much more inventive. Last but not least, there is Ryan's backstory. At one point, Matt asks her who is thinking of her down on Earth. We then learn that Ryan had a daughter who died at 4 years old. What reason is there to give her character a dead daughter? It forces an emotional response from us. Quaron should have given her at least one person back on Earth so she had a reason to fight for her life. Because as it is now, she has no one. The good news is this film delivers a fitting ending. It's a nice way to close out a unique journey that mixes drama, action, and suspense really well. My grade for Gravity remains 3.5 out of 5 stars. Thank you very much for your time. I appreciate it. Have an awesome day.